All right, welcome. Lead word time. We're going to continue our division previews. Chad Bauman, Mark Izzo, myself, Trey Daubert. I haven't eaten yet. We're kind of all over the place. So,
we can tell by this intro.
Huh?
I said we could tell by this intro. You have like a blood sugar deficiency going on. There's no energy at all.
It's not great. So, we're kind of all over the place. We're going to do the AFC North today. If you haven't watched the last episode, we did the AFC East. Each of those teams are uploaded individually. So if you only want to watch maybe one specific team, you can do that. So, Chad, what's going on?
Nothing. I've been laughing at possibly the funniest joke I've ever heard.
Oh, okay.
For the last hour. I can't stop laughing about this joke. I honestly think it might be the funniest joke I've ever heard. What did Phil Collins say to the petting zoo operator when he lied to him? It's all been alpaca lies. Because there's a line in the song, it's all been a pack of lies. Alpacas are in petting zoos. You get it?
Okay.
I find that funny as fuck. I've been laughing about that for an hour now. It's all been alpaca lies. It'll grow on you, I think.
Okay.
I feel like Mark has something to say.
I'm just smiling to make you feel better. I didn't think it was funny. I got a joke. This is the funniest joke I've ever heard.
Let's hear it.
All right. Why don't chickens wear pants? Because they're peckers on their head.
All right, that's funny. I'll give you that
one.
funny.
That's funny.
I like that.
Feel free to use it.
Chad, AFC North time.
Yes.
Who do you want to start with? Who's your favorite heading into the year?
I feel it's got to be the Bengals, right?
Want to hear a stat? I looked it up.
I love stats.
The Baltimore Ravens are currently the favorites to win the division, according to Vegas.
Okay. I feel like you may be able to make the argument that maybe Baltimore wins if Lamar Jackson doesn't get hurt last year.
Can you?
I feel like you can.
I don't think they were ever in the hunt last year.
Well, what was their record before he got hurt? I don't remember.
They weren't really winning games when he was. Remember that game they played against Detroit? They shouldn't even fucking won that game last year.
Yeah, but they did. That's what counts. They beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, they should have never won that game either.
But they did. We can say a lot of things. Vendetta Sports Media shouldn't exist, but it does. If you had gotten paid by one website, Vendetta wouldn't exist. So technically, it shouldn't exist, but it does. Sure. We can go back and revisionist history a lot of things, but the fact it happens doesn't change. Here's one for Chick. We'll get there when we get there, but the Raiders won 8 games, or they won 4 games in overtime.
Yeah,
they won by less than a touchdown 5 different times.
Their point differential was not good last year.
Yeah, so you can make the argument that the Raiders shouldn't have been in the playoffs last year, did they make the playoffs? Yeah,
I've been saying that.
But the fact of the matter is they did. They won the games. You can't come back and call oh well, it shouldn't have happened, so we discredit it.
I have a hard time believing that the Baltimore Ravens are going to win this division.
Mark, can you find out what their record was before Lamar got hurt? Because I think they had a winning record before
they did. Hurt. Okay, so they ended the year. They lost their last 6 games, so they were 8-3. But I think he didn't miss that many games.
I feel like he was gone for a good chunk of the season.
I thought he only missed 4 games, maybe. And I don't think Tyler Huntley was really the problem.
Even if he does only miss 4 games, you're telling me Lamar doesn't win 2 of those 4?
He's not that good.
And they go 10-7 as opposed to. Now I have to do math. 8-3.
What was his touchdown interception ratio last year? Wasn't good. It could have been. I'm not saying he's the perfect player, but he's certainly the best option they had at quarterback last year. He's better than Tyler Huntley, but I just can't see how they're division favorites according to Vegas. That seemed crazy to me.
Well, like I said, I feel like you have to give it back to Cincinnati. Yes, there's still offensive line concerns there, but they upgraded a little bit.
They upgraded a lot of it. By the way, Lamar Jackson's touchdown interception ratio last year, 16-13. That's fucking terrible.
Yes, it is. But can we give Mark some stuff to do here? You're looking this shit up, and what the fuck do we have Mark for?
I had that. I just didn't know when to jump in to give you that touchdown.
16-13 touchdown interception ratio. That's fucking bad. That's not the reason. Like, oh, he missed a couple games. It ain't the fucking reason why they missed the playoffs. He didn't play well.
Well, apparently it is because they went 8-3 with him playing quarterback, throwing 13 interceptions. And you can't give that statistic out without giving his running touchdown numbers too. Because yes, he may not have thrown for those touchdowns, but those running touchdowns still count towards his production.
What were his running touchdown numbers? By the way, they won't be as high, whatever they are, because they had no running backs last year, so they had to have him run the ball.
Well, it doesn't matter. Like whether they had running backs or not, like he still scored.
By the way, Cincinnati, because you brought up the offensive line concerns, they made a lot of upgrades. Ted Karras is new starting center. He used to play for New England. Alex Kappa, new starting right guard. He used to play for Tampa. Lyle Collins, new starting right tackle, came over from Dallas. That's
I'm a big fan
starters in the offensive line they just added.
I'm a big fan of the Lyle Collins pickup.
Me too.
Because I thought it was unfair when fucking Dallas got him to begin with, considering they already had like the best offensive line in football at that time. And then
2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, okay, so what? 18-13? That's still bad.
Okay, I thought it was more, but apparently it's not. So again, I think it's Cincinnati's division to lose.
I agree.
They won last year. They got better last year.
And their biggest hole was offensive line. And all they did was try to solve it.
I think they lost has Jesse Bates left them yet?
Jesse Bates is still on the team.
But he wants out though.
He wants a new deal.
So
their cornerback stuff is good. Their defensive back stuff is good. Awuzie, Mike Hilton, they drafted Dax Hill. I mean, their defense is pretty good actually.
Yes, like I said, I think it's Cincinnati's division to lose.
Baltimore doesn't have a single fucking pass rusher who can sniff Trey Hendrickson. Not one. I don't know where you want to start, Chad, but I think Cincinnati should be considered overwhelming favorites because that's a young football team. Like it's not like they're Tampa and Tom Brady's old and the rest of their guys are old. Like Mike Evans is starting to hit his 30s. Like Jamar Chase was a rookie, and T. Higgins is a second-year player. Like their whole team's young.
Isn't his third year?
Okay, yeah. Last year's was the second year. This is his third year. All of these guys are young. Tyler Boyd's still young. Like all their guys are young. All of them.
Yes, I'm 100% on board. I think they're the favorites to win.
But they're not, according to Vegas.
I mean, Vegas goes by like people voting or not voting, people's bets. Like that's what makes the Vegas odds. The odds makers, they set like the original, but then like once people start betting, causes the odds to fluctuate. So maybe a lot of people like randos are hammering Baltimore here. I don't know.
I think Baltimore has serious issues. Serious issues. Chad, who the fuck
have any wide receivers?
Who's their pass rushers? Who are they?
Who are their wide receivers?
I don't know.
I mean, their best wide receiver, Hollywood Brown, who had drop issues, he's gone.
But he was still their best wide receiver. So, I don't know who their pass rushers are, and I don't know who their receivers are. And that sounds like a big problem.
But, I mean, they have a great running back.
Great running back.
That's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be running the ball. So maybe they don't need wide receivers.
They really tried to upgrade their offensive line, too. It's another team with 3 new starters. Linderbaum at center, first-round pick. I think he's going to be awesome. Morgan Moses, new right tackle. Kevin Zeitler, new starting guard. They really tried to upgrade the offensive line, and they're probably going to run the ball. So I don't think they're going to be terrible. And it's the Ravens. They're always going to play competent defense. But how can you say they're fucking better than Cincinnati?
I think that's wrong. I think that's 100% wrong. Like, there's no way Baltimore's better than Cincinnati. And, I mean, honestly, depending on what happens with Cleveland, I don't even know if they're the second best team in the division.
Right.
But that depends on what happens with Deshaun Watson. I don't who knows what happens.
I'm not saying Baltimore's terrible. And people can come after me or whatever they want, but, man, you're going to say that Lamar Jackson not only is going to outduel Joe Burrow, but, the rest of their team, what the fuck do they have? Really? What do they really have?
I don't know. Maybe it ends up being a real big year for who's the receiver out of Texas? I can't remember his name.
Duvernay.
Yeah, maybe it's Devin Hoover or Devin Huvernay's or whatever how you say
Devin Duvernay. I like him. He's a good slot
Devin Duvernay. Maybe it's his year to shine. Maybe
it could be.
Maybe Hollywood Brown was holding him back.
I just can't buy that they're division favorites.
I don't know. I don't think so either. Like I said, I maybe have them as the second best team if Deshaun Watson doesn't play.
Okay, well, let's go to Cleveland. We don't know what's going to happen with Watson. We don't have that information. But on paper, they're fucking good.
If Watson plays, they'll give Cincinnati a run for their money.
They should. They're fucking loaded. The Lamar Jackson edition, that's something.
I mean, it just depends on who's playing quarterback. Like, who knows? Like, who's their backup? Jacoby Brissett, right?
Yeah. And apparently he's going to start whatever games Watson's out.
Who has him in our fantasy league?
Nobody. And I told you to pick him and you didn't.
I didn't realize nobody had him. I thought somebody had him.
Nobody has him.
I need to go add him.
Well, you can now.
Why not?
Because you can't do anything until week 1.
All right. Well, then in week 1, I'm going to fucking add him.
Yeah, after week 1.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Because I kind of have to now.
I think Cleveland's really good, Chad.
I do too. I mean, but like I said, like we've seen what happens with them in the quarterback position. Like Baker Mayfield's been up and down. When Baker Mayfield wasn't up, they were as a team were down. When Baker was up, they were as a team, they were up. So if they have Deshaun Watson, even though I would take Deshaun Watson having not played football in an entire year over I would say 20 of the other quarterbacks in the NFL.
But that's another point, though. Can't they survive the 8-game stretch if it's 8 games? Nick Chubb's the fucking man, dude. Did you see that squatting video that came out of him? There's nobody like him.
Oh, yeah. Like, I thought it was insane. The bar was curling before he took it off the rack.
I thought it was going to snap. The bar was going to snap in half.
I've never seen that before. Like, I've seen, like, the bar, like, when you pick, like, everyone's seen that. The bar curls, like, once you take it off the rack. Yeah. I've never seen it curl on the rack.
Yeah.
Like, that bar was literally, like, if that bar could talk, it would probably be like, this is some bullshit.
You can ride him for 8 games, and you can win some football games.
Well, I mean, they did it last year.
I mean, they weren't terrible last year. Like, terrible. They weren't terrible last year.
Mark, can you grab Cleveland's first 8 games of the schedule this year?
Can they survive handing the ball off to Nick Chubb? Why not?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on who they play. Like, if they play some really good run defenses, maybe not. If they play some really good
their offensive line's loaded. We know their offensive line's loaded. And their defense is low-key awesome. How many defenders in the whole league would you pick over Myles Garrett?
I don't know. Maybe like 3.
That might be 3 too many.
I'm not going to lie. Like, he's been good. He's gotten progressively better.
He's a fucking monster.
He is. But I don't know. Maybe 3 guys, depending on the position the team needs, but maybe.
And their secondary. Like, we didn't get to see a healthy Grant Delpit yet. I think he's going to be good. John Johnson has already been really good at the other side.
And the corner they had, the one they
drafted. The first round corner they picked last year, Greg Newsome, was awesome. I can only imagine how good he's going to be in year 2. And they hit on the linebacker from Notre Dame, the Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He was good last year, too, as a rookie.
Yeah, most likely they'll get better. So, like I said, I think they're like they'll give. So, like the way we talked about the divisions last week, we talked about the AFC East, and I said it's like, Buffalo, 1,000 feet of crap, and then everybody else. Like this is like I think it's like Cincinnati, Cleveland, maybe like right there neck and neck. 50 feet of crap, and then like the Ravens.
Are we sure the Ravens are better than Pittsburgh?
Mitch Trubisky is taking starting snaps in Pittsburgh. You could run me out there and they would still be better.
But how long is that going to last? How long is the Trubisky thing going to last, Chad?
Are Kenny Pickett's baby hands going to be any better? Like, I don't know.
I mean, he played well at Pitt last year.
Yeah, I mean, he played well at Pitt, but last time I checked, Pitt wasn't the NFL.
True.
All right, so we got Cleveland's first 8 games. We got Panthers, Jets, Steelers, Falcons, Chargers, Patriots, Ravens, Bengals.
They can do that. They can survive.
I mean, there's an easy 2 wins, I would say.
You can survive that.
Panthers, you should be able to run on the Panthers. Let's see.
Panthers,
Chargers, I don't think they'll beat the Chargers. Patriots, it's hard, but I think it's doable.
You can beat the Jets.
You might be able to squeak out 4 wins there.
That's all they need.
But I mean, again, it would still be hard because I think you drop the game if Watson is injured. If Watson's out for his myriad of just fucking sexual misconduct, fucking lawsuits what is it, like 27 now? Almost, or is it 30? I don't know. I feel like every day I fucking check, the number goes up.
But the other thing is this, like, if they don't have a ruling, he's going to play at the start of the year.
True.
Like, we're what, a month away, 2 months away? They don't have anything yet. Like, what if they come out and say, oh, well, by the time there's a ruling, it's week 7, and then he appeals it?
Well, then that gets you to week 15. Because if we go back to when Zeke did his, Zeke played until like week 8.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, we thought Zeke was going to get suspended forever. He did get suspended, but it wasn't when everyone thought he was going to get suspended.
That's just because he kept appealing.
Yeah, but that could happen. If they wait how much longer?
But also, let's not forget, like, it really depends on Watson, too. Like, if he just accepts it, then that's different. Like, he may not appeal. Like, he may not want to draw more attention to it. Because, like, if you think about it, like, the only reason why Zeke ended up not playing or ended up getting his suspension was because after, like, week 8, like, it was, like, his third appeal got denied, and he could have appealed it again, but he was just like, all right, now I'm just gonna like just eat it, like, at this point. So like, it really depends on Watson. Like, he might not fight it at all. He might just be like, I want to get this out of the news, I want to get it over with and go on with my life. Who knows?
Regardless, if they can survive any sort of stretch without him, I would have to think they're the only team that can contend with Cincinnati.
I agree.
By the way, Pittsburgh's defense is there. It really is. Like, Pittsburgh's defense is there.
Yeah, but I don't think they have an offense. I don't.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know how good Pickett is. How good is Pickett? How good is he? Because if he's actually good, they can win games.
Well, I mean, what about the rest of their offense? Like, their offensive line, I think, is still garbage. They have I'm not going to say they don't have any wide receivers because they have Deontay Johnson, but that guy's like hurt every other day.
They just drafted George Pickens and they have Claypool. That's a pretty good 3.
Okay, yeah, but Claypool's a fucking moron.
Claypool is a fucking moron.
I couldn't trust fucking Claypool as far as I could throw him. And I'm a former wrestler. I could throw him pretty far.
It looks like they have an underrated tight end right now, Pat Freiermuth. I think he's going to make it. And he can block.
I don't know. I don't trust their offense. Like, I don't, like, Najee Harris, like, showed some stuff last year, but again, offensive line issues. So, like, maybe there wasn't a lot for him to get going behind. Again, their offensive line still sucks, in my opinion. I don't think they're good. I don't think they're going to be good offensively. And even if Kenny Pickett is good, let's say Kenny Pickett is good. He's still going to be a rookie quarterback. There's still going to be issues with him, adjusting to the NFL game. I would still say they're shooting for 4th place here. And again, I don't think Kenny Pickett starts, if he does at all, until week 5 or 6. Mitch Trubisky is starting this thing off. So unless Kenny Pickett goes, I don't know, fucking 13-0 or no, 12-0, like, I don't think they're going to win the division.
I would have Cincinnati and Cleveland up here, and depending on what Watson is, and then I think Pittsburgh and Baltimore at the same level below them.
I'd agree with that. But again, I think you could drop Cleveland down. Pickett's not even second on the depth chart right now. Thank you, Mark.
Who is second? Who do they have second?
Rudolph.
Oh, boy.
They don't even fucking know what to do.
How's he even on their team? How's he in the league?
Honestly, to be fair, I picked fucking Mason Rudolph over Mitch Trubisky. Like, if I had to choose.
I mean, you're not working with much there.
They're both bad, but, like, I think Mason Rudolph is less bad than Trubisky.
I actually think I'd take Trubisky. And you know where I'm coming from on the Trubisky side.
But, like, don't get me wrong, both options are bad, but, like, I don't know which one is less bad.
I would cut Rudolph. I mean, unless you can get a pick for him, but I don't see how.
I don't think, like, maybe you get like a 7th
round. The guy they drafted in the 7th round, Chris Ballard, I would make him the 3rd stringer.
Maybe you make him the starter at this point. I don't know.
South Dakota State, Chris Ballard. Yeah, let's sign it up. Let's do it.
Like you want to give Pickett some time to adjust. You don't want him to get fucking killed right away. Sure. Trubisky's obviously going to be terrible. Like, I mean, this kid can't be any worse than
the 7th rounder. I like it.
Do you think that if Pickett shows out in the preseason games, do you think that could like raise a lot of questions for him to be the starter heading into the season?
I think so.
Yeah, definitely. Why not? What happened with Seattle and Russell Wilson and fucking Matt Flynn, right? Was it Matt Flynn? Yeah,
well, it already started yesterday. Apparently Trubisky was bad in practice from everything that I read, and there was fans on the sidelines. Put Pickett in. Put Pickett in.
Well, I don't know how bad. I'm not going to say Trubisky was bad. We know he was bad, but I don't want to say it yet. I feel like that might be slander. I'm just
reading the practice reports that came out.
Well, from what I saw, he only threw 2 incompletions, and then they were like, put Pickett in.
Yeah.
So who knows? Like, that's not necessarily bad. Like, if he could have gone 8 for 10, but 2 incompletions, and they're like, put Pickett in. We know he didn't, but I'm just saying, like, want to try to avoid any kind of slander allegations.
I think I'm good on the Trubisky slander stuff. We can do all those as you want.
It's not slander unless it's true, or if it's true. I mean,
maybe we could do another division.
Yeah, we got time. I don't mean unless you have more to say about the AFC North, because I feel like we've covered it all.
I think we have teams that are a lot the same. Like Cleveland and Cincinnati, to me, both are pretty similar. You got weapons, you got running backs, you got improved offensive lines, really young and improving defenses, and 2 lightning rod quarterbacks. Cincinnati or Baltimore and Pittsburgh, to me, are pretty similar. 2 really young running backs, Dobbins and Najee Harris, they feel good about. They're going to run the ball. They're going to try to play good defense, and they're going to try to manage the stuff with the quarterbacks. So I don't know how much more you want to talk about it.
I would like to point out that Baltimore clearly has the better quarterback of the 2. Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but Baltimore clearly has the worst wide receiver room.
That's fair. Yes, I agree with that. I do want to point out that you're a fake fan. If Deshaun or if Lamar Jackson gets signed to a contract, Trey's turning his fan card. That is
absolutely
the biggest bull. That's worse than, like, in my opinion, being a Cowboys fan. Like, if I had to sit through the fucking Chip Kelly era, you can sit through the fucking Lamar Jackson era.
That's we're dealing with worse. We're dealing with way worse, Chad.
I don't think so. I call complete and utter bullshit. Like, you got to be, like, with your fucking team here. Like, when they struggle, you struggle. Like, if they're down bad, you're down bad. You don't get the fucking pick and choose and come and go.
Yeah, didn't you see the? I haven't actually watched this, but I saw the one quote that came out. The new ESPN Plus documentary on Derek Jeter. Have you seen that yet?
No.
It's he says a line in there. Loyalty in one way is called stupidity. What have the Baltimore Ravens done for me, Chad?
Maybe we should start asking. They made you very happy by winning several fucking Super Bowls.
No, 2. Not several, 2.
All right, I'll give you 2. Several is like 3 or 4, but I guess we're splitting fucking
2
pairs here.
I've already had to sat through the bullshit, Chad. I had to watch Kyle Bowler fucking play football. Enough was enough, you know? My entire fucking life, we've had a quarterback that I've hated. And the only guy that I've, like, accepted was Joe Flacco. And most people don't even like him. I've never had a quarterback I've liked, Chad. My whole life.
Well, whose fault is that?
The fucking Ravens.
No, it's your fault because you should like the quarterback. You chose not to like these quarterbacks. That's on you.
No! Nobody chooses to like Trent Dilfer. Tony Banks.
Trent Dilfer won you a Super Bowl.
Anybody would have won that Super Bowl, Chad. Anybody.
Okay, but you should like him. I don't have to like Trent Dilfer. I don't have to like Trent Dilfer because I'm not a Ravens fan. I can hate the guy, but he won you a Super Bowl. You should fucking love him.
I don't love him. I like him, but I don't love him. We can't.
You should love him because he won you a Super Bowl.
Chad, anybody was going to win that Super Bowl. That defense was not going to lose. I think the playoff game they played against was it Denver? I think maybe they only gave up 2 first downs the whole game. No, they weren't losing.
It doesn't matter.
My whole life, Chad. Tony fucking Banks, Elvis Gerback, like just nonsense. Sit there and fucking deal with it.
I mean, I had to deal with Nnamdi Asomugha. You could deal with some bad quarterbacks.
Nnamdi Asomugha.
Did you hear the story about, like, apparently, like, the first day of practice, like, he got burned by, like, a tight end?
No. But
that's I think it was like LaShawn McCoy was like on some podcast, and he was like, yeah, that year, like, everybody was like, oh, they got all these free agents. Nnamdi Asomugha came in, and it was like we were doing like practice. He was like just one-on-ones in practice, and Nnamdi lined up against Brent Selleck, and
Brent Selleck burnt him.
Yeah, that's what Shady said. He's like, yeah, Brent's like not unathletic, but he's like, he could do it all as kind of like a tight end, but he wasn't like a burner. And he's like, next thing you know, it's just Brent does a go route, and he burns Nnamdi down.
Chad, you did a photo op with Brent Selleck.
Yes, I did. Yeah. I met him in London when I went to the Eagles game. We're like best friends practically now.
Yeah, sure. Chad, I can't believe you're not even on my side a little bit.
No, of course not. Like, as bad as the Eagles have been over the year, you know how many times I could just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go be like a Patriots fan. But no, I dealt with being terrible. Like, I've lived it. Fuck, Donovan McNabb had his issues. Fucking Jeff Garcia was our quarterback at one point. I think we had both Detmer brothers at a time.
What about Kevin Cobb?
He sucked. I think I could have thrown more touchdowns in the NFL than Kevin Cobb.
You had Vic for a while. That was cool. For like 1 year.
That was fun for like a year, but then like they had like the worst. Then the year after that, they had like the worst offensive line, and it was like, well, we can't even. Like I remember there was this one play. They were in shotgun. I think they were playing the Falcons that year. The offensive line was so bad that literally once the ball was snapped, the minute it touched Vic's hand, he got sacked. Literally, I swear to God, I wish I could find an exact clip. It was literally the second the ball touched his palm, he got sacked. And like people were like, Vic sucks. I'm like, what the fuck do you want him to do? He literally gets sacked when he touches the ball. Like there's no.
Hey, that 1 year though was really cool.
Yeah, and fuck, Kevin Curtis was our best wide receiver at one point. We had Dante Stallworth, which he was like hit or miss. Like I've been through everything. There's nothing you're gonna tell me like, oh well, I've sat through these terrible fucking people, dude. I've sat through like worse than you have.
Yeah, think about the process with the Sixers.
What?
Think about the Sixers with the process. We sat through so much shit with that.
I think Hinkie's heart was in the right place, though.
Yes, like I'm not mad at Sam Hinkie. I'm just saying, like, fucking Michael Carter or whatever the fuck his name is. Michael, I don't even remember. Like he looked like fucking Drake's goofy little brother. Like that fucking kid was like our starter at one point.
Nerlens Noel.
Rookie of the year?
What's that fucking white guy's name? I can't fucking stand him. He went to the Pacers after he left the Sixers.
DJ McConnell?
Yes. TJ McConnell.
I'm not going to let you throw shade on TJ. There's no way. I'm not letting you throw shade on TJ.
Let's do another division. Let's do the South, too, because it's maybe the least interesting division. Colts, Titans, Texans, Jags. Can wrap up with that.
Texans going to win, right?
Oh.
Texans? You're not a fan of what is their quarterback's name? The
Davis Mills. The
Davis
giraffe
Mills?
neck. You ever see Davis Mills' neck?
No.
Oh, it's total draft mode. He'd probably be 6'2" if he didn't have that neck on him.
Well, how tall is he?
I think he's like 6'5", 6'6". Yeah.
I don't know.
6'4".
I want to say it's Tennessee's division to win.
I mean, I guess I'm with you. I don't know who the fuck else would win it. I think by default they would win.
Colts got to be in the mix.
Are they in the mix?
I mean,
I'm not sure they're better, Chad.
Matt Ryan's got a team around him.
I'm not sure that's an upgrade. We sure that's an upgrade?
I think the Colts would have been better, but like they had injuries to start the season. Who's their guard? Nelson. Quentin Nelson was injured to start the season. And then they had some other pieces moving around on the offensive line throughout the year. I think they're healthy this year starting. I think they could be good. I think their problems last year stemmed from having so many injuries that came up on their offensive line.
Here's one thing I'm worried about. I think Matt Ryan might be shot. I would take him over fucking Mariota. He doesn't have much left. I mean, he's a carbon copy of old man Phillip Rivers walking.
I don't know about that. I think Atlanta was just terrible last year.
Oh, they were bad, no question.
I think Matt Ryan still has the arm. I think he just didn't have the time because of the fucking terrible offensive line.
You're in on Matt Ryan this year?
I was going for him in fantasy.
I wasn't. He was maybe the last guy on my list that I would want.
I think the decision making's still there. I don't know. I think they'll be all right. I think
he's starting to. Okay, I won't use the Rivers one. He's starting to look like old man Eli Manning when he couldn't move and he got sacked. He was a total statue.
Yeah, but But if their offensive line stays healthy, he should be able to do some damage.
I don't think their offensive line's as good as people think it is.
I don't think their offensive line is bad. They had a lot of injuries on their offensive line last year.
Not saying it's bad. I'm gonna have to look this up just in case I'm wrong. Yeah. Okay. Matt Pryor's your starting left tackle. You have great experience with watching Matt Pryor, Chad.
See, I've been on record. Matt Pryor isn't great, but I mean he can start in the NFL.
A good starter?
I mean, he'd be an average starter for you.
Average starter. Okay. The right guard is Danny Pinter. I actually don't even know who that is. Braden Smith's okay, but I mean, I think it's okay.
That's a good thing. He's so good you don't know who he is. Like he doesn't give up any sacks.
I'm sure.
That's like
and the wide receiver room's still bad, Chad.
Yes, the wide receiver room is still bad.
Still bad. They haven't upgraded it. And fucking don't talk to me about Alec Pierce. If I hear another Alec Pierce is going to save the day, give me a break.
Yeah, but I think Matt Ryan's a good enough quarterback where he can take it. He can make a wide receiver room better. Actually,
their weapons might be worse because Jack Doyle, I mean, he's not great, but he retired. They have no tight end anymore. It's put up or shut up time for Mo Alley Cox. I hope he makes it, but I mean, they don't have a real tight end anymore.
Well, I mean, what's his name? The kid out of fucking USC that they drafted a couple years ago.
He's the only guy they have.
Yeah, he's good.
He's okay, I think.
I think he's good.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor, do you think that he's good enough to just have the whole team ride on him to pick him up some wins?
It is the AFC South, so maybe that'll be enough. But I just don't see how they're that good.
I think they're second best in the division at the very least.
Anybody that's watching this, I want to pull up a specific clip. I can't get the image out of my head when 5'8" Antoine Winfield mossed 6'4" Michael Pittman in a jump ball. I can't get it out of my head.
I'm unaware that happened, but I still think Pittman's a good player.
Look it up. Antoine Winfield totally just fucking mossed the shit out of him on a pure 50-50 jump ball. And Pittman's got to have 6 inches on him.
Well, maybe, I mean, Antoine Winfield, he's got buddies.
I think I found it.
Antoine Winfield is actually fucking good. Antoine Winfield's fucking good. But anybody with Pittman's size should not lose that battle in a jump ball if he's actually good.
Well, no, because, I mean, again, it comes down to positioning and fucking leaping ability. Well, I feel like Antoine Winfield had like a really good fucking either broad jump or fucking combine.
Don't get me wrong. I love Antoine Winfield. But anybody who's a really good play the clip. Anybody who's a really good wide receiver at his size isn't losing that fucking battle the way he lost it.
Rolling out, setting up to go deep, going to float one deep down the field for Pittman.
All right, that's not a 50-50 ball. He undercut the route. A 50-50 ball would be like, we're both standing there looking for it to come down, and like he fucking jumped over his back.
If Pittman was a fucking really good wide receiver, he's not letting Winfield intercept it like that.
Okay, I will give you that. He should not have. He could have done more to prevent the interception.
Absolutely.
It's not.
Absolutely.
It was not a 50-50 ball.
Worst case scenario, that's incomplete. You cannot let him intercept that.
You made it sound like fucking Winfield got put him on a fucking poster. Like
he may as well have. He may as well have.
No, he didn't. He just undercut it was just a better play by the defensive back than it was the wide receiver. It was being lost.
Anybody who's that big at Pittman's fucking size shouldn't fucking look like that.
I think you're just a hater.
I'm tired of this. Oh, this Chris Ballard. He makes these great draft picks, and look at all the guys they have, and here's the roster he built. He doesn't fucking win anything. What's Chris Ballard won? What has Chris Ballard won? Why are people still telling me he's smart? It's the AFC South, and he can't win the fucking division. And I'm supposed to believe.
I feel like you're discrediting the Titans a little bit here.
Am I?
I feel like you are.
Whenever Chris Ballard got hired, I mean, it's been a while now. Blake Bortles has still won the division more recently than him.
Okay, but again, the Titans have won the division, what, the last 2 or 3 years? Like, the Titans are a good team. They have a good defense. They have a good offensive line. Yes, their quarterback sucks, but, I mean, until recently, they had A.J. Brown.
I believe he also let Bill O'Brien win the division, too, but different story.
Yeah, I mean, but let's be fair. There was a couple years there where Bill O'Brien had a good Deshaun Watson, you know? So
sure.
It's not like he was just like, it's not like there was just like random. It's not like it was like he lost to the current Texans. Like,
but
that would
they're not sitting there navigating the AFC West or navigating the NFC West or navigating even the NFC North. This is a winnable division every single year, and he can't do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This could be their year.
We'll see. But I don't think they're that good.
I think they have a good offensive line. I think Matt Ryan can be good at quarterback for them. I think they have a good running back. Obviously, they have issues at wide receiver. I think Michael Pittman's better than you're giving credit for. I think defensively, their corners suck. Their secondary is not great, but I think they have good linebackers.
Darius Leonard, but who are their other good linebackers?
Well, I meant Darius Leonard.
Yeah, I mean, they have some guys that if they take leaps, maybe they can get it done. Like Kwity Paye has to be really good. Yannick Ngakoue came over via trade, but I think you're right about the defensive back stuff. The defensive back stuff is not good.
I think they can. I think they're in the running to win the division. I feel like it's probably going to be Tennessee, but
I think fucking Jacksonville might be in the running to win the division.
I don't know about that.
I mean, I just don't feel confident about anybody in the division just because it's a bad division.
I don't know. Maybe you're right about Jacksonville. Apparently, Urban Meyer was like the entire problem for that team.
What if he was? Like, realistically, I don't know if anybody like really spent time and watched Trevor Lawrence. He was fucking great last year, and his numbers don't reflect it at all. he was carrying that team to whatever wins they had. They were Lawrence's. They were absolutely Lawrence's wins. He's going to be way better in year 2. I think Jacksonville's sneaky. I don't like Doug Pederson, and I think we're on the same page about that, about Doug Pederson not being, world-beating head coach.
But I don't know. There's things with Doug where I'm like, hey, man, I don't know. Doug, Doug was the most infuriating fucking head coach ever for me because he had his moments. There was times where I'm like, fuck, Doug, that was the greatest fucking play I've ever seen in my entire life. And then the next play would be like, Jesus fucking Christ, Doug, what the hell? The one thing I could say about Doug is he has zero adaptability. If the fucking game plan doesn't work, then the whole fucking game is a loss. Zero fucking willingness to change the game plan. And that's another thing, and that's why I would be concerned if I'm a Jacksonville fan, is again, for whatever reason, I don't know. Again, I think maybe he just didn't fucking like the guy. When Carson Wentz was our quarterback, Doug, for whatever reason, refused to tailor the game plan to what Carson did well. And the funniest thing is that once they finally benched Carson and they put Jalen Hurts in, he started doing the stuff that we were like, you should be doing this with Carson. He started doing it with Hurts. So I don't know what Doug's I don't know, maybe fucking hate boner for Carson Wentz was. I don't know. But I would hope that if I'm Jacksonville, I'm hoping that's not the Doug that I get. I'm hoping I'm getting the Doug that was okay, Carson Wentz went down in the middle of an MVP season. Let me tailor my offense to what Nick Foles likes to do, which was the RPOs and things like that. And then we ended up winning a Super Bowl. So I don't know. Are they going to get dickhead Doug or are they going to get regular Doug? I don't know.
I just think there's a chance that Urban Meyer was really, really, really the problem. And they're not nearly as bad as people think they are. I'm not saying they're a good football team, but they may be closer to Indianapolis than people want to believe. I'm just telling people right now, I think they're totally sleeping on this. Fucking Lawrence is good. Fucking Lawrence is good. He's going to be a top 10 quarterback at the position. I don't have any, I'm not questioning that at all. I feel very confident that he will be a top 10 quarterback eventually.
I feel like they're definitely better than Houston.
I think they should be better than Houston.
I still have concerns. Again, we're talking about wide receivers. Christian Kirk's your best wide receiver, and you're paying him $50 million a year.
No question he got overpaid, but he can play. He can play.
I don't know. I wouldn't say he's the best wide receiver.
He was good at Texas A&M. He was a worthy second-round pick. He played well for Arizona. He didn't always have his targets, and he wasn't always a meaningful part of the offense.
But I feel but I'm not saying I'm not saying Christian Kirk is bad. I'm just saying I don't know. I would say he's somewhere between 15 and 25 best wide receiver in the NFL.
Oh, I'd go lower than that. But I think he's how would I compare him? I think he's a faster but less crafty version and not quite as good as Keenan Allen.
I don't think he's as tall as Keenan Allen is either.
I'd say he's probably 85% of Keenan Allen. But he's got a little bit more wheels on him.
I don't know. I feel like they'll be better. I just think they're probably the third best team in the division, and then Houston's the fourth. Colts probably two, and then
could easily be.
Titans are one. The Titans have a huge demotion with I just can't get over the fact that they fucking traded AJ Brown just to fucking draft I
wanted to talk about the
great value fucking AJ Brown in the draft.
I wanted to talk about the Titans because I think there's a real crash and burn possibility here. There's a chance this really falls apart, isn't it? I'd put them as the favorites to win the division, but isn't there a slight chance they really fucking tank?
Well, for that, I guess it depends. It depends on what happens with injuries. I feel like they're going to be more of what we see every year. They're going to play good defense, and then they're going to run the ball.
Mike Vrabel's fucking good. He's a really good head coach, but they have some holes on their team. Real holes. AJ Brown is no small loss.
Yes.
That is no small loss.
Yes. Again, they drafted great value AJ Brown. And and again, I still don't trust Tannehill as a quarterback. Go back to any game since he's been a Titan, any playoff game, any game where it was okay, we need to start throwing the ball in order to get this win. And it's all right, yeah, we might as well call this one, fellas.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you two questions. Is there a single guy you can name on their defense? Single guy off the top of your head.
Don't they have Malcolm Butler?
No, we talked about this already. He's back on the Patriots, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I feel like I should be able to name somebody on their defense, but I can't. I can't think of anybody.
It's a solid defense, but there's no star power. Zero. There's zero star power in their defense. If you don't have real aircraft carriers, probably a bit of a problem. Second question I got for you. How confident are you in Treylon Burks? Not replacing A.J. Brown, but he's got to be able to play. He's got to be able to play. He can't be a liability out there. And right now, if people want to go read those reports, they can. His practice reports are not good. He's not in shape. He has bad asthma. Like, they can't even get him on the field. That's the guy you picked in the first round to replace A.J. Brown.
Bud Dupree's not bad.
Right. They have guys. They have some solid guys. They have zero aircraft carriers. They have nobody like a T.J. Watt. They got nobody like a Myles Garrett. They got nobody even like a Marcus Peters. They have nobody like that.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's fair. I mean, as far as Treylon Burks is concerned, like I said, I feel like he's great value. A.J. Brown, he's going to come in, and I think he'll have a decent season. But again, like
I think we're assuming a lot of things about Treylon Burks that may not necessarily be true.
I think he's going to have like
Treylon Burks. He'll go in there and fit in just fine. I don't necessarily know if that's going to happen.
I feel like he's going to have about 400, 500 yards this season.
That's not very many.
I mean, for a rookie wide receiver on a team that's not really going to be trying to throw the ball a whole lot, I feel like that's a fair amount, like a decent amount.
Well, their management totally fucked this up. They gave up a second-round pick for Julio Jones and then realized that he wasn't good anymore. They've totally screwed themselves on this.
I agree. But like I said, I think their main show is not their passing game. Losing A.J. Brown does fucking hurt because it's A.J. Brown, but at the same time, like, they were never really going to be throwing the ball like fucking 40 times a game.
Right, but at some point you got to help Tannehill a little bit. I think there's a chance this turns into a disaster. Robert Woods tore his ACL at the end of last year. I'm not saying Robert Woods is a bad player, but what if the old Robert Woods that was actually productive in fantasy that you kind of wanted, what if he's gone? What if he no longer exists? What if Tennessee got him and the best version of Robert Woods is gone? What if Treylon Burks really can't play? Because I think there's a chance if people want to go read my scouting notes on Treylon Burks, they can. I don't think he can run routes. He might be able to make it, but it's going to take him some time. Like, he's not polished as a receiver at all. He can only do one thing, and it's go straight. And he's not that fast.
He's a bit of a big body. Like, you can there's going to be times where you're going to be able to just throw jump balls to him and get first downs.
He's a good straight line, and he's a big body, but he's not a fucking route tree guy. That's for sure. And the rest of the receivers look like this: Westbrook Ikena, Des Fitzpatrick, Racy McMath, Kyle Phillips. It's nothing. Cody Hollister. Like, if those two guys aren't carrying your offense, Woods and Burks, they're in fucking real trouble.
But again, they're not going to be the ones that have to carry the offense. All they have to do is get open every once in a while when, like, we're faking the handoff to Derrick Henry. Like, that's all they have to do.
Well, how many more years does Derrick Henry have left? Because last year, when he got hurt, it was over.
Well, he's not going to get hurt this year.
We'll see, but a lot of these running backs are falling apart.
Like I said, I feel like it's Tennessee. I feel like it's Tennessee's to win, but if we account for injuries, like, we're not going to be able to account for an injury. Like, if Derrick Henry goes down, then yes, they're not going to be good.
Okay.
But I have faith. Derrick Henry, he's out there doing, like, I mean, we talked about Nick Chubb. Like, obviously he's not squatting like Nick Chubb is, because I don't think anybody can do that besides Nick Chubb. But you see Derrick Henry doing all those weird fucking workouts all the time. He posts on social media. He's trying to get healthy.
I love Derrick Henry. But last year he finally showed, like, maybe he's not Superman.
He'll be all right.
Let's do one quick thing on the Texans and we can wrap up.
I think they're bad. Like, that's
right.
It. They do. I don't know what else to say.
Can I make a case that maybe they surprise some people? Can I make a case?
Is your case going to be revolved around Davis Mills being decent?
Maybe.
Okay, we can hear it.
So, new head coach this year. I think it should be an upgrade. I wouldn't have hired him, but it should be an upgrade. Lovie Smith has proven that he knows defense, and he knows cornerbacks really well. They pick a guy named Derek Stingley in the first round. I would have picked him first overall. If they have a true number one corner and Lovie Smith can fix the defense, I mean, he did take the Chicago Bears to the Super Bowl. So if they could play real defense, and they have some young guys that they took, Jalen Petrie, Christian Harris, like, should be a total disaster on defense. They got your boy Steven Nelson at corner. What if it's not a total disaster of a defense? What if they're competent defensively?
I feel like it's still going to be a total disaster of an offense. And We've seen what Lovie Smith can do with the likes of Rex Grossman, and I don't know. Maybe Davis Mills can be your Rex Grossman, but
let me sell you on Davis Mills because I don't think he played that bad as a rookie. And we didn't know a ton about him coming into the NFL because he went to Stanford, and he was never healthy at Stanford. He was never healthy. Like, I don't know how you could even scout him. But he's a former 5-star recruit. He was the number 1 quarterback recruit in high school, his class coming out. People always thought he could play, and he didn't play that bad as a rookie. If he can take a jump, and their offensive line, like, they've tried. Remember back in the day when Watson was getting killed, and over again, we were like, dude, like, how can you do this to this guy? Like, he's carrying your team, and you're getting him sacked 10 times a game. They've really tried. I know they overpaid for Laramie Tunsil, but he's still a good left tackle. They took Kenyon Green in the first round. A.J. Cann, I like a lot. He went to South Carolina. Picked him up from Jacksonville. Titus Howard, he can play. Their offensive line's not that bad anymore.
But I would like to use your analogy. Who are the aircraft carriers?
No, they don't have any.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
I just thought I'd make the case, Chad. I think they're going to be bad too.
They're going to be bad. I'm just saying.
And the worst part is, dude, my rookie picks are cursed. How about John Mechie getting cancer? I mean, that's brutal for them.
I feel like it's probably worse for Mechie than it is for them.
No, I'm saying that for Houston, that's horrible news, dude.
Again, I feel like for Mechie, like, it's probably worse.
Yeah, of course. But Houston was going into that year like, hey, we got a guy. We got a receiver that can run, that can maybe get open, that we can make splash plays to. And they got ripped right from him.
I mean, it's rough. You hate to see it. But
like, he would have been a real target for them because they don't have much.
Happens
now back to old man Cooks, who's really actually not that old, but it seems like he's been around forever.
I don't think Brandon Cooks is terrible. I think he's not going to be great. But
Nico Collins, Mechie would have been a big difference for them, though. Like, that really would have stretched out their offense.
That's true. That's fair.
That's all I got. I tried.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good try. But like I said, it's not. I don't think we're going to be talking about them winning the division. Maybe they don't come in last, but I don't think they're going to be winning.
They could come in third if Jacksonville's terrible again, or there's like a major injury and one of the other 2 teams tank. But
I honestly, that's kind of like all it would take for the Titans to be the worst team in the division.
Oh, yeah.
Derrick Henry sprains an ankle. Gets a bad high ankle sprain.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. There's a disaster possibility for any of these teams in the division, which the Jacksonville and Houston are obvious. But what happens if Matt Ryan gets hurt? What happens if even Pittman goes down?
I think they'll still be kind of good.
What happens if Taylor goes down? Just him.
They're gonna. I honestly, I would be less concerned about their weapons getting hurt than I'd be concerned about someone on their offensive line getting hurt.
My point is, I just don't think there's a big margin for error with any of those teams.
Not at all.
Mark, any final comments? Anything you want to chip in?
No, not really. I'm excited for the Eagles this year.
Okay.
So I'll throw that in. I'm really excited to watch Hurts. I think it's going to be a big year for him, and I think we're going to win the division. So
when we get to the NFC East, I'm sure there will be an hour-long segment on the Eagles, and we'll have to pick it up next week on the rest of the teams. So
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah.
All right. If that's it, that's it. I guess if you're watching this on YouTube, one of the many cuts of it, you might be watching the whole thing, or maybe you're watching one particular team breakdown or one particular division breakdown, excuse me. You can like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get the notifications. We've got Jackson's doing his courtside stuff's been going on. I'm sure he's got a lot to talk about with, Summer League was picking up in the NBA. And what else we got going on? We got gaming. Trey's been playing FIFA. Episode 14 came out this week. 13 and 14 came out this week.
I got to keep playing because they're fucking behind. Like, they're all caught up on the streams.
What we can get is I bought a PS5 a couple weekends ago. I don't know. Maybe the people want to see me and Trey go live on Twitch, and maybe we'll cut that up for a YouTube video. I don't know. Maybe if that's going to get views, I don't know.
Deal.
Other than that, say hi to Max in the comments. Helps the YouTube algorithm. And other than that, I guess we'll see you next week. And what's the last division? AFC West. We'll go through the AFC West.